Now we'll slowly come down to what are the details, yeah, in terms of hand movements, body language, facial expressions, eye contact, small emblems, haptics and appearance and objects. These are small bits that comprise of the complete body language circle. So let me just quickly move ahead talking about emojis. Now, emojis is a best example of non-verbal communication. You can imagine the kind of frequent emojis that you guys have been using and all of us in the social media use to indicate a certain expression, to give you a certain message, a certain joyful message, a sorrowful message, or an embarrassing message. So here is a big example what we call of non-verbal communication and still expressing your message. I'll quickly take on the three parts of vocalization. It's very important just to understand the body language part that vocalization is actually part of three parts: vocal characters, vocal qualifiers, and vocal segregates. I'll come to them one by one, so just give me a moment. See, vocal characterizes a what? A person, the way a person laughs, the a way a person is crying, a way a person does these activities. These are not classified as words, right? These are not classified as non-verbal as such, but they are classified as vocal characterizers. You have seen a certain kind of community or a certain kind of person from a different country laughs in a very different manner. We even laugh at their laughter. That also happens with us. You must have realized that it must have also happened to you. And this is very important that you understand that this is also part of a culture. It's part of an upbringing that you have and what you have done over years. Talking about qualifiers, what are qualifiers really? These are nothing but your pitch, your intensity. If I want to convey a big point, I will raise my volume. If I want to land a topic, I will put it down to a certain point and reduce my volume. Now, this is what you have to modulate in order to become an effective communicator. It's very important that I tell you, please modulate. More you modulate, the more it becomes a situation which is little more impressive to hear. Moving on to vocal segregates. What are vocal segregates? This is something which everybody is using. If you recollect the ers, the ahs, the basically always, these are some of the fillers and the separators that everybody is using. And I must say, what has happened over a period of time, the amount of fillers that you are using are irritating to for the people who are listening to you. The one big point, count the ers, the count the ums. I will tell you one trick to do that. Take it as an exercise for yourself. Prepare a 5-minute speech about yourself or about a leader that you like. And once you record that speech, note down the number of ers that you have done. That is what we call the counter. Why we do that is because just to know whether the fillers that we are using are more than required. This is very common to people that these fillers that they use are very large. I think a lot of people will agree with me that you must have heard that, and this is so irritating. I'm not saying that it is something that can be eliminated completely, but if you begin to count them and you become conscious of the fact that you cannot do that, you have to avoid that. You have to keep a structured sentence in mind to avoid those fillers. So these are some tricks and tips that you should do in order to avoid these segregators. Now, this is something which is very common to a lot of people who are have a very fidgety situation. Maybe they are snapping their fingers or something on the table and stuff like that. This is also a form of body language that indicates to somebody that this person is maybe nervous, he's hiding something, or he's very anxious. Yeah, these are all pointers. Just keep that in mind. We will discuss each and every pointer as we move ahead. These are small non-vocals. Yeah, people talk about in a certain manner, take a small bit of hair, and they end the words in a particular manner. Bzz, tss, tss, tss. These are all onomatopoeia words, right? These are sound words. So these are also very important while you're communicating. Let's me move on to the gesture part. Just look at this image and you will feel that the person is so excited. His eyes are lit up and he is looking forward to meet you. He is looking forward to interact with you. So this is an image that you should be presenting when you are somebody you are meeting for the first time. You are somebody who are interacting with somebody, and it gives a pleasant personality. I'm not saying that you should smile as much, but your pleasant personality gives a lasting impression to somebody. Yeah, I should speak to this person. I should interact with this person. So this is very important. A smile conveys a lot of information. Coming to the fact, emblems. See, what are emblems? You must have seen. Are you hearing me well? Yeah, yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, finger pointed, grasping for your throat, choking. These are all emblems of non-verbal communication. For example, tilting of the head, swinging front and back. These are all non-verbal emblems. You have to focus upon them. What are to be used when, what are to be avoided, we will soon see as we move along this. Another important aspect of non-verbal communication is touch behavior. See, whenever you are looking at communicating with somebody, in some cases you utilize the form of touch. Here I want you to be very careful when you're talking about touch behavior, because it may be taken in a certain different way as well. For example, some person that you know don't know very well and you pat them on the back or stuff like that may be not taken correctly. So this is the reason you have to be very careful when you're using touch behavior or guiding people, right? So this is very important that everybody looks at these aspects of communication. Yeah. Yeah. So quickly moving on to the fact that touch behavior is a little sensitive topic. So you have to be very careful when you are using touch behavior as a kind of a means of a communication or shaking your hands and stuff like that. You should be a little cautious of the fact, right? So that's very important. Now I'll talk about facial expressions, motions. Now, one thing question I always get from people, that what kind of hand gestures should I have? I suggest people you could hold your hands together, open them most of the times while you're talking. While you're expressing to them, keep your hands open, because what it gives you an impression that you're giving me information, right? It's not getting over the top, because I'm not doing like this. I am limiting myself within my space. Yeah, I'm not interfering with your space. Very important. Also, while you're discussing or while you're listening to somebody, an active nodding goes a long way in order to make this feeling absorb. When you're talking to somebody, actively nod. That's a good way to say, yeah, I understand. Yeah, right, correct. So this is an active listening point of view, right? Looking at your eye line, your eyeballs, what are they focusing upon, whether you're looking at the speaker or not. Look at the speaker for some time, look at another speaker for another time, look at another speaker for another time. Don't continuously look down while you're talking. And that's a very important thing and very important. Smile and look at the person. It makes communication much, much better. Yeah.